Hi guys, welcome to this video. We're going to develop now the part of Diagnostic Test, Analytic, Geometry. Remember, this is a book, Calculus Early Trascendentals 8th edition. This is a book of James Stewart. So let's get started. So the first question says the next thing. Find an equation for the line that passes through the point 2, minus 5, and A has a slope minus 3. B is parallel to x-axis. Okay, we're going to move a little bit fast, so we're going to start now with the first one. A has a slope of minus 3. So then in this one we already have this value. The m is used as the slope in mathematics in this part. So when we have a curve that it has a constant slope, we say that the form is y equal b plus m times x. The exercise already provides the value of the slope, so then after this we can naturally just replace. Then replacing that, we have this one. Okay, we have b minus 3x. Afterwards, we already have a couple of points, so we can replace them in order to find the value of b, which is the intercept with the y-axis. So then we replace y by minus 5 and x by 2. Just multiplying this 3 times 2, this is minus, it goes to the other side positive, then we have here b equal to 1. After this we can replace, and the equation should be y equal 1 minus 3x. B, the parallel to the x-axis. So automatically when we have parallel to the x-axis, it means that this equation doesn't have any slope. So we can assume naturally that the slope is equal to 0. Then making that equal to 0, we can find out the value of b, the intercept with the y-axis. So it should be minus 5, which is the value of y, equal to b plus 0, which is the slope, times 2. So then we end with b equal to minus 5. At the end of the day, taking the equation form, we just replace the constant. Remember, we cannot replace y and x because those are variables. Just we can replace the constant, that they are m, which stands for the slope, and b, which is the intercept with the y-axis. So then we could say that y is equal to minus 5. This should be the equation. C is parallel to the y-axis. Well, I just depict a graph to understand a little bit more the idea. So when we are saying that, we are saying automatically that well, in this case we have the point 2 minus 5, 2 for x-axis and minus 5 for the y-axis. So then, due to that is parallel to the y-axis, the question should be something like this. Okay, should be a vertical line which crosses the x-axis in 2, but it doesn't crosses naturally the y-axis because this is parallel. So we can say that the question should be x equal to 2. It doesn't matter what is the value, x is equal to 2 for all y values. Okay, then D, we have is parallel to the line 2x minus 4y equal to 3. So then we just collect here well, we have here minus 4y. I just move 2x to the other side with minus, then I just replace with y. Y is equal to minus 3 over 4 because 4 is multiplying, so it goes to the other side dividing. Remember that it needs to go to each of the two elements. So we have minus 3 over 4 plus 2 over 4. Then I just simplify 2 over 4, then divided by 2, divided by 2, so we have 1 over 2. Why did I do that? Well, actually, because in this case I already have the slope. So I know that the slope of this curve is 1 over 2. So due to that, we know that we need to find that it goes, it's parallel. I mean, the slope is exactly the same, so they never touch each other. And furthermore, they go through this point. So then we know that the y is exactly equal to b plus 1 over 2x, which is the slope that we already found. Then we just change, or we just replace y by minus 5 and x by 2. Then under these circumstances, we just like multiply 2 times 1/2, so we have 1. So then it goes to the other side with minus, so b is equal to minus 6. So then the equation that fulfill this condition, the D condition, should be y equal minus 6 plus 1 over 2x. Next, second, find equation for the circle that has a center minus 1, 4 and passes through the point 3, minus 2. So then first we need to start from the concept of a circle. Every time we're talking about the circle, the function that defines a circle should be x minus a, we can say, and y minus b. And which is a and which is b? Well, actually, a is the point which is the center in the x-axis, and the other part, which is this one, is the center in the y-axis. So we just replace here. Then we replace by minus 1 and we replace by by 4. Okay, and then this is equal to the radius of the elevated to 2, the square, I mean the radius elevated to 2, right? So then here we just like multiply minus times minus, it turns into plus, and then after this we have something like this. We have minus 1 and 4 is the center, and it goes naturally because of the radius. It goes to the point 3 times 3x and minus 2y. So this should be the circle, right? Imagine that this is the center. Maybe it's not, because I did on PowerPoint, so maybe it wasn't accurate completely. However, it gave an idea, right? So we have here the center, and here it goes to this point. So automatically you know that this distance from this to this should be the radius that we don't have. So then we're going to find out the distance between the center and this point. How we can find this one? There is another formula, which is the D. It stands for distance, which is the square root of this expression, x2 minus x1 elevated to 2 plus the difference of y's elevated to 2. So what x2 and x1 do we have? So we have this one should be x1 and this should be x2, and then should be exactly the same the other one. You can make it different, but keep in mind that if you take this one as a y2, this should be x2 as well. Okay, so then you change x2 by 3, then you replace x1 by minus 1, the other one you replace minus 2, which is the y2, and the y1 should be 4. Then this minus times minus, it turns into plus, and then minus 2 minus 4, you have minus 6, and then you have 4 elevated to 2 and minus 6 elevated to 2. Remember, because of this negative, so you have minus 6 times minus 6, so minus times minus, it turns into positive. 4 elevated to 2, it is 16. 16 plus 36, we have 52, and the square root of that should be the square root, no, the elevated to 2, because this should be the radius. When you have a square root and you elevate it to 2, you have 52. How come? Remember that when we have 52, a square root of 52 is exactly the same as we have 52 elevated to 1 over 2. And 1 over 2 elevated to 2, you make the multiplication, and then you have here 52. So then this should be the equation that fulfill these conditions. Next, find the center and radius of the circle with equation this one. Then remember, as we said previously, this is the form of the circle. So we need just to figure out and adjust the expression presented, how we can arrange that, and we can end up with this expression. So my idea of the procedure should be something like this. So we have here the x2, x elevated to 2 minus 6x plus y elevated to 2 plus 10y plus 9 equal to 0. I didn't do any particular thing. I just arrange the x, I collect to the left part, and I leave the other one to the other side. Then here we know that we need to form like the expression that should be something like this. So maybe when you have x minus something and you elevate it to 2, it turns into this. Maybe something is missing. So then we start from the part that x minus a elevated to 2 should be something like x elevated to 2 minus 2 times the first times the second. Then should be here 2 times a, and this one, which is together with the x, should be 1, so they should be minus 2a, and then the second part of the second term should be a elevated to 2. Then we figure out if we've put something, we put 3 here, we're going to end with x elevated to 2 minus 6x, which is 2 times 3 times x, should be minus 6x times 9, which is the minus, well, 3 elevated to 2. Then we have plus 9. So then should be something plus 9 here, but watch out here, because actually we already have that. We already have the 9. So then we already have this one, and then we just need to form this other part, y elevated to 2 plus 10y. So then we know that 5 times 2, we have 10y. So then 5 is elevated to 2, you have 25. So then you know that this should be the expression. So then here it should be a plus, sorry. So then here is still missing this 25. So remember that we have here an equation. So if you add 25 here, you need to compensate and you need to sum here. So this part is exactly the y plus 5 elevated to 2. So you just replace, and then the radius should be 20, the radius should be 25, okay? So then, not the radius, sorry, the radius elevated to 2, because actually the radius should be 25. However, this should be the expression that you turn into equation, this expression in a circle form, okay? Then we have here a center with 3 and minus 5. Remember that this should be the positive, and then due to this is positive, then this should be negative, and the radius should be 5, which is the square root of the diameter. 4. Let a minus t minus 7, 4, and b 5 minus 12 be points in the plane. A. Find the slope of the line that contains a and b. So how we need to find slope? Well, the common formula should be the variation of y in the numerator and the variation of x on the denominator. So we just replace, I just keep here minus 12 as the 2 part and then as the 1. So we have minus 12 minus 4 over 5 minus, pay attention here because we have here parentheses, minus 7. Then we have here minus 16 and 5 plus 7. Then at the end of the day, we have that this should be the slope. Then this should be the answer for the A part. And we can just simplify, because here we can divide by 4 each 2 terms. So we have 4 minus 4 over 3. B. Find an equation of the line that passes through A and B. What are the intercepts? So then we already know that the form should be y equal mx plus b. We already have the m, which is the slope. We just replace this one or this one. It doesn't matter. You need to end up with the same value of b, which is the constant that we need to find out. Remember that b is the intercept on y-axis. So then we just replace, I replace by this y by 4 and x by minus 7. So minus 7 times minus 4, we have 28. Then we just move this one to the other side with minus, and multiplying, I just multiply this 3 times 4, we have 12 minus 28 over 3. Then we have minus 16 over 3 is equal to b. So then when we just replace this one, we already have m and we already have b. Okay, so then this should be the equation that passes through the point A and B. I mean, it goes to this point, and then I assure that it has this slope. Okay, so then this is how I usually present. However, I figured out that in the book they present a different form, so I just did how the book presents. So what did I do? I put these 3 and multiply everything by 3, so we have 3y equal minus 4x minus 16. I just collect the terms, I put the x to the other side with plus, the same idea with 16, and then this is exactly the answer of the book. But for me, this is correct because this is the equation of y in terms of x. However, we did as the book showed the answer. Then what should be the intercept? Well, we know already that b is the intercept when x is equal to 0. Okay, so this should be the intercept with y on y. And then what about if y is equal to 0? Well, we just replace by y equal to 0 here, and we have 4x plus 16. We move 16 to the other side with negative, we have a division, and we have that x is equal to minus 4. It means the intercept on x when naturally y is equal to 0. Then C, which find the midpoint between or of the segment AB. Well, the midpoint is given by this equation. You just have like the average of the midpoint of each specific point in the Cartesian and the Cartesian representation. So we just have here the sum of x, so we have minus 7 plus 5 over 2, and then we have 4 minus 12 over 2. So then we have minus 7 plus 5 is equal to minus 2. 4 minus 12, we have minus 8. So then we just divide minus 2 over 2, we have minus 1, minus 8 over 2, we have minus 4. Then D, find the length of segment A and B. So we are going to take back the distance formula, and we just replace x2 and x1 and y2 and y1. So then x2 should be here 5, x1 then should be minus 7. Pay attention again with the minus, and then we have here y2, which is minus 12 minus 4. So then we just make some algebra here, just like some summation. We have 5 plus 7, and then minus 12 minus 4, we have minus 16. We elevate that to 2. We have 144 and 256. So we make here the addition, and then the square root of that should be 20. So then this is the distance between these 2 points. Okay, then the other one, we have find an equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. Well, we already know that the slope that we found previously is minus 4 and 3. Every time we have this about perpendicular, it means that it crosses another curve naturally, that at the end of the day they form a 90 degrees angle. So then we just like make the inverse, the reciprocal of the 4 over 3, and pay attention because if this is negative, the other should be positive. Then we already have this one. Then the next part, we're going to take back the midpoint because this is going to cross exactly in this point with the reciprocal slope. So then we just replace that. Then we take the form of the curve, which is y minus 4, which is x minus 1. We just multiply this, it turns into negative, it goes to the other side positive. We have 4 times 4 minus 16 plus 3 over 4, and then we have minus 13 over 4. Then we already have the value of b, we have already the value of m of the perpendicular bisector. Then we have here that the y is equal to 3 over 4x minus 13 over 4. Again, the book presents the answer in a slight different way. So I just multiply all by 4. So we have 4y equal to 3x minus 13. We just collect the term, and in this case, we have here 4y minus 3x equal to minus 13. 13. In order to have the same answer as the book, we just multiply everything by minus, so we have 3x minus 4y equal to 13. The last but not least, kind of long, right? So then we have find any equation of the circle for which AB is a diameter. So then we have already the center, which is minus 1 and minus 4. Okay, because this should be the midpoint. Okay, so the midpoint should be exactly the center. Furthermore, we know that the diameter, which is all the distance of the segment, is the diameter 20. So we know that the half of this point should be the radius. So we just replace that information into the circle equation. So the circle equation, remember, should be x minus the value here. So we have minus 1. And then here, the value here, we should be minus 4. Then we just keep here, multiply the signs. So we have plus and plus. And then here we have the radius is exactly equal to 10. On the 10 elevated to 2, we have 100. So then this should be the question, that of the circle which AB is the diameter. Then the next one, we have sketch the region in the y-x plane defined by the question or inequalities. So here we have this one, that y is exactly larger than minus 1, however is smaller than 3, so we can separate that in that way. Keep in mind that we have here that is larger or equal. Okay, so then it means that it's bounding the curve. Okay, so we need to take into account the curve. The other one, we have smaller or equal than 3. So then in the plane, so we have minus 1 should be the value of y. So according to this inequality, this should be contained. So for this reason, I put a complete line. I didn't put a dotted line. So then all the values that they're above to this line. And if I put the other part, which is 3, remember that we have here smaller and equal. So then this should be above of this and below this part. So all this region is the region, sketches the region that is defined by this inequality. Okay, let's move to the next one. B is the absolute value of y smaller than 4 and y by absolute value smaller than 2. So then when we have this one smaller than 4, so we have this one. First important thing, I put the dotted line. It means that it's not bounding, it's not included in the answer. So I would say that all the values that they are minus 4. However, pay attention that we are talking about the absolute value. It means that if we move to minus 2, this should be automatically 2. So we are going to lie here. Okay, so then for this reason, I would say that all the values larger than 0 at the end of the day should be included. So this should be the region for x. Saying that, we're going to move with y. So we have minus 2. Again, pay attention that we have dotted line. This is not bounding, this is not included. So then we have here 2, and then we have here 0. So all the values that we have above 0, because again, if we have minus 1, it turns into 1, and 1 is smaller than 2. So we have all the region that is above 0 for the y-axis and all the region that is below 2. When we have here the union between these two regions, we have this rectangle, which is defined from 0 to 4 in the x-axis and from 0 to 2 in the y-axis. Next one, we have this one, inequality. What is my trick? Maybe there are different ways to solve it. I just put here the equal, okay? Just to have an idea what should be the region that I need to analyze. So here, imagine that x is equal to 0. So y should be 1. So this is the intercept on the y-axis. What about in the other one? So we already have here 1. If y is equal to 0, so we have 0 equal to 1 minus 1 over 2x. So I just collect the terms to solve the value of x. I put the minus 1 over 2 to the other side positive. And then we have x is equal to 2. So then we already have these 2 points. And remember, when we have a slope, a constant slope, it's not necessary to like find every single point. Just 2 couple of points, those are enough. I put as a dotted line due to we have here the inequality is strict inequality. We don't have equal as a possible answer. Then what should be the region? Below or above? How you can figure out that? Well, my trick is just like proof with 0, 0, which is the easiest one. So if you apply 0, 0, you have 0 is smaller than 1 minus 1, 2 over times 0. Then you end with 0 minus 1. And it is true. It means that this point is inside the region. So all the values below, they fulfill this inequality. Okay, let's move now to the next one. We have this inequality. So again, I put the quality. I know that this should be like of this form, x squared. So this should be the form because minus 2 elevated to 2, we have 4, and 2 elevated to 2, we have 4. So it's like symmetric this. However, we have here minus 1. So this is not, I'm going to move above, below for a minus 1, and it should be exactly the same. Again, we're going to move here the proof with 0, 0. If I put 0, 0, I'm going to replace here the values, and we have that 0 is larger than minus 1. And this is true. Therefore, all the values that they're above to this line, they belong to the region that fulfill this inequality. E, we have this part which actually we can say that is equal again, and this is the form of a circle just with the feature that the center is in the point 0, 0. So then the radius is the square root of 4, which should be 2. They should be something like this, with 2 here as a radius. So 2, 2 minus 2 minus 2. I put it as a dotted line because this is not included. Okay. So then here with the proof with 0, 0, we have 0 is minus is smaller than 4, so the point 0, 0 is included into the region. So then this is true. So all the values that they are inside of this dotted line, they belong to the correct answer. And the last one, we have this one. Well, you can figure out that it's so similar to a circle. Just we have something multiplied here is what we call an ellipse. Okay, so this is an ellipse. So imagine just like easy, x is equal to 0, so we have 16 y elevated to 2 equal to 144. We just divide 16, we have 9, the square root of 9, so we have 2 answers, because the square root, usually we have 2 answers, the positive and negative. So 3 times 3 is 9, however, minus 3 times minus 3 is equal to 9. This is important because this is going to provide the intersections with the y-axis and the x-axis. This one should be the y-axis intersection. We're going to do exactly the same as the previous one. We have just like y is equal to 0. We go the 9 over 144 over 9. We have the square root of 16. We have 2 answers. So then when we replicate that, we just figure out that in the x part is a little bit more I would say broader, is a little bit more with this form, right? So then we have here here we have, I put 2, but that's completely wrong because we have here minus 4 and 4, and then this one should be minus 3 and 3. Okay, so please, I apologize, this is not the correct answer. Just like here should be again 4 and minus 4, and here should be 3 and minus 3. And because this is an equation, so all the regions should be exactly this one. We don't have any specific region like inside or outside. It's just exactly this one. Well, I hope it has helped. Maybe I have some mistake. I really apologize, because I just like the way that I'm solving that. Hopefully this is useful for you. That's it. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.